Hi friends, we're so glad to be back and share another healthy recipe with you after taking a little bit of a break. We will be using these simple ingredients here to make this delicious blueberry baked millet. This recipe actually comes from the Silver Hills Spa Cuisine cookbook. The Silver Hills Guest House puts out this cookbook, and the Guest House is a natural lifestyle center in beautiful Lumby, British Columbia. They host retreats that focus on healthy eating and exercise. I will include details in the description below if you'd like more information, and we just want to thank them for allowing us to share this fabulous recipe with all of you. So now let's get started. The first step to making this baked millet is to prepare your millet. There are a few steps in this recipe in total, but you'll see that a lot of these steps can be done beforehand, so it's actually pretty easy in the end if you have good preparation. So there's two methods you can use to cook your millet. We're using our Instant Pot today because it's so quick and simple. In the Instant Pot, you need 1 cup of millet to 1 3/4 cups of water with a little pinch of salt, and you're going to cook it for about 10 to 12 minutes depending on your altitude. You'll see I do 11 minutes, but again, you just pick and find what works best for where you are. The other method that you can use if you're going to do it on the stove top is to bring 1 cup of millet and 3 cups of water with a pinch of salt, put it on the stove to boil, and then reduce the heat and just simmer it for an hour. Pretty hands off. If you're sensitive to certain grains, you might want to soak the millet beforehand for an hour, but it's not necessary if that's not really an issue for you. Now, I have to be honest, I was not initially a fan of millet, but after doing some research, I really did want to give it another try. It's very versatile. You can substitute it for rice or pasta or quinoa or couscous in a lot of recipes, and it's really nutrient dense. So I'm glad I gave it another try. This recipe actually helped me to start to love millet, especially because you can cook such a large batch at a time. You can freeze it in individual portions and just pull it out whenever you need a grain or something on the side of your meal that's ready to go. You can buy hulled millet, which is what we're using in this recipe today, at any store that sells bulk foods or even major grocery stores that have a natural food section. So the second step to this recipe is to make the cashew cream. Now, if you wanted to make this recipe even more simple, you could just add 1 2/3 cup of any plant-based milk that you like in place of the cashew cream. But we're going to make it today. The cashew cream is so rich and it adds wonderful flavor, and you get that satisfaction that you made it from scratch without any preservatives. So we're going to add in 2/3 of a cup of raw cashews. And if you're not using a high-speed blender, you're going to want to soak these for at least an hour before you blend them. So we're going to put in the cashews, 1 cup of water, and 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. And this is going to help give the millet a nice creamy texture. And it reminds me a lot of tapioca pudding, which is very popular in our house. If you've ever come to Veggie Club, you know. So we're going to set these aside, and we're going to make the crisp topping, while we wait for the millet to finish cooking in our Instant Pot. And again, if you want this recipe to be super simple, you could just stop right here, mix up your millet and your cashew cream or your plant milk, set it aside in individual portions, and then the day of or the night before you want to prepare something, add a little bit of fruit or nuts and seeds, whatever you like. And in the morning, you have a really quick meal that's nutrient dense and just wonderful. I've been doing this on my work days, and I found that I feel so much better and have more energy than the days when I just grab a quick bowl of cereal and I'm hungry and tired probably an hour after I eat it. So we're going to do the full recipe today, though, because it's just fabulous. So to make up our crisp, we're going to put 3 cups of oats, 2/3 of a cup of flaked almonds, 1/4 cup of cane sugar, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 3 tablespoons of grapeseed oil. And you can see I have some really eager helpers to help me here. I can't emphasize enough, I know I say this in every video, but there is a correlation between having little ones in the kitchen and helping with anything from meal prep to meal planning and all those things. It increases their willingness to explore new foods. I find the more they get their hands in the food, the more they have ownership over things and want to try it and do it their own way, the more they're willing to try. Not to mention the fact that you have your very own sensory experience right here in the kitchen every time you make something. While that's baking, we're going to make up our pear cream. Now, because we make this pear cream often and we love it, you're probably wondering why we're using peaches. The reason is because we can't keep canned pears in the house because they go so quickly. Every time we have them, we make pear cream. So we're using peaches today because that's all we had. We're again going to use cashews to make the sauce nice and creamy. The recipe suggests blending the cashews in a little bit of juice to start, but I just throw it all in and blend it twice and it seems to turn out okay. You see, I'm measuring out the juice. I would normally just throw caution to the wind, throw all the pears and the juice in the blender without measuring and hope that it's the right amount. But for your sake, I want to make sure I'm following the directions. And you'll see that this can of Diana Peaches actually measures exactly out to 1 cup of juice and the equivalent of a 28-ounce can of pears. I just love it when things work out that perfectly. Not always in life, but this time it did. So the pear cream, we love it, but we actually really like the peaches this time. What I will say about this recipe is that it is pretty low in sugar, which if you're used to eating a lot of sweets or sugary breakfast cereals, which is pretty common in North America, you may need to adjust the sweetness to your taste buds, but I really would encourage you to challenge yourself and slowly decrease the amount of sweetener over time, and you'll see that you really can enjoy things with less sweetener over time the more you train yourself. So here's the finished product. We hope you try it and enjoy it as much as we did. Thanks for watching, and please let us know what your favorite way is to cook millet in the comments below. We'd love to know how you cook it, and we really do truly hope that soon we can be together again, and we wish you all the best.